The Forgotten Guardian. Maya Chen rubbed her tired eyes as she monitored the communication arrays at Nova Station. The deep space outpost orbited Jupiter's moon Europa, serving as humanity's farthest permanent monitoring station in the solar system. Most nights on the Gamma shift were uneventful: routine check-ins from mining vessels, data packets from research outposts, and the occasional personal message from Earth. Tonight was different. A soft chime pulled Maya's attention to the secondary array, equipment so rarely used that most of her colleagues joked about it being purely decorative. The signal was weak, distorted by interference, but unmistakable in its pattern. "That can't be right," she muttered, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The signal used Colonial Defense Force encryption, protocols that hadn't been standard for over 70 years. Maya ran the authentication sequence 3 times, each verification confirming what seemed impossible. This was a genuine distress call from Proxima Colony, humanity's most distant outpost circling Proxima Centauri B. She activated the command channel. "Station Director, this is communications. I have an emergency situation requiring immediate attention." Director Amara Ibrahim arrived within minutes, still adjusting her uniform. Her usually composed features tightened as Maya explained the situation. "Show me," Ibrahim ordered, leaning over the console. The message appeared, grainy and broken. "Under attack. Unknown hostiles. Defense systems failing. Massive casualties. They're unlike anything we've encountered. Please help." The transmission ended with coordinates for a bunker where survivors had taken refuge, along with sensor data showing massive ships in orbit around the colony. Ibrahim's face paled. "Alert Earth Command. Priority Alpha. I need to speak with Admiral Reeves personally." Within hours, the encrypted quantum communication channel linked Nova Station directly to Earth Command. Admiral Victor Reeves' weathered face filled the screen, his expression grave as he absorbed the information. "You're certain of the authenticity?" he asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. "Yes, sir," Ibrahim confirmed. "The encryption keys match Colonial Defense Force protocols. The transmission is genuine." The Admiral was silent for a long moment. "I'm initiating Protocol Lazarus. Officer Chen is to be temporarily reassigned to my direct command. Prepare her for immediate transport to Luna Base." Ibrahim's eyes widened slightly, the only indication of her surprise. "Understood, sir." When the transmission ended, Ibrahim turned to Maya. "Pack your essentials. A transport vessel will arrive within the hour." "Ma'am, what's Protocol Lazarus?" Maya asked, confusion evident in her voice. "That's classified beyond my clearance level," Ibrahim replied. "But I suspect you're about to find out." 23 hours later, Maya stood in a massive underground facility beneath the lunar surface. She'd been escorted through layers of security by stone-faced military personnel who offered no explanation for her sudden reassignment. Now she waited in a meeting room with smooth metallic walls, wondering what possible connection her discovery had to this facility. The door slid open, and Admiral Reeves entered, accompanied by a tall woman with steel-gray hair tied in a severe bun. "Officer Chen," the Admiral nodded. "This is Dr. Elizabeth Voss, Director of Project Goliath." "Sir," Maya acknowledged, her curiosity burning. "May I ask why I'm here?" "Because you found something we've been watching for," Reeves said, activating a holographic display. Images of the alien ships orbiting Proxima Colony appeared, their design unlike anything in human records. "These are the Scourge. We've had limited intelligence about their existence for decades, but this is our first confirmed contact." "The Scourge," Maya repeated, "a name given to them by the only human who has ever encountered them and lived," Dr. Voss explained. 70 years ago, a deep space exploration vessel stumbled upon one of their scout ships. Only the captain survived to bring back warning of what he saw. "What happened to him?" Maya asked. Reeves and Voss exchanged glances. "That's what you're here to see," the Admiral said. "Follow us." They led her through a series of security checkpoints, descending deeper beneath the lunar surface. Finally, they reached a massive chamber that stretched nearly half a kilometer in length. As lights activated sequentially, Maya gasped. Standing in the center of the chamber was a colossal humanoid figure. The war machine, there was no other way to describe it, stood at least 300 meters tall, its metal frames seeming to absorb the light rather than reflect it. Its surface was covered with what appeared to be weapon systems, sensor arrays, and thruster ports. Despite decades of dormancy, it emanated power. "This is Goliath," Admiral Reeves said quietly. "The last and greatest of the Titan war machines built during the colony wars. Officially, all Titans were decommissioned and destroyed as part of the peace accords. Unofficially, Goliath was preserved as humanity's final line of defense." Maya stared up at the massive figure, awestruck. "It's incredible. But why am I here?" "Because Goliath isn't just a machine," Dr. Voss explained. "Traditional Titans were AI-controlled, but they lacked the intuition and creativity needed for true combat effectiveness. Goliath is different. It houses a human consciousness, the mind of Captain James Donovan, the sole survivor of that first Scourge encounter." Maya's eyes widened with understanding. "The captain. He's in there. His body died decades ago," Reeves confirmed. "But before it did, we transferred his consciousness into Goliath's neural network. He agreed to the procedure on one condition, that he would remain dormant until the Scourge returned. And now they have," Maya whispered. "Precisely," Dr. Voss said. "Your discovery has triggered Protocol Lazarus, the awakening of Goliath." The Admiral stepped forward and activated a communication panel. "Begin awakening sequence. Authorization Reeves Alpha 7 Epsilon 9. The chamber hummed with energy as systems long dormant began to activate. Lights flickered across the Titan's frame, and a deep resonant sound filled the space, like the breathing of some massive beast. "The neural integration process will take approximately 12 hours, Dr. Voss explained. "Donovan's consciousness has been in a state of suspension for 7 decades. The reintegration must be handled carefully." "What happens after he wakes up?" Maya asked. "We brief him on the current situation and deploy to Proxima Colony," Reeves stated matter-of-factly. "Goliath was built to be capable of interstellar travel. The journey will take 3 weeks at maximum speed." 3 weeks. Maya was stunned. "But the colonists may already be lost," the Admiral finished grimly. "But we've detected ongoing resistance. Some colonists are still fighting, and we need to understand the Scourge's capabilities and intentions before they potentially set their sights on Earth." "And my role in this?" Maya asked. "You'll be our communications specialist," Reeves said. "Your experience with decrypting the original distress signal makes you uniquely qualified. And there's something else. We need someone who can talk to Donovan. Someone without preconceptions." "Why me?" Maya felt overwhelmed by the sudden responsibility. "Because you found them," Dr. Voss said simply. "In some ways, you're responsible for waking him. And because military psychologists believe having a non-military presence might help ease his transition." Over the next 12 hours, Maya was briefed on Captain James Donovan's history. A decorated officer, he'd commanded the exploration vessel Pathfinder during humanity's first push to explore systems beyond Alpha Centauri. After his encounter with the Scourge, he returned with grave injuries and warnings of an alien threat unlike any humanity had imagined, beings that seemed to consume entire worlds for resources. When Donovan learned his injuries were terminal, he volunteered for the experimental neural transfer procedure. His mind became the core of Goliath, preserved to face the threat he alone had witnessed. Maya was in the observation room when Goliath's systems reached full activation. The massive figure's eyes, sensor arrays designed to resemble human eyes, glowed with blue light. When it spoke, the voice reverberated through the chamber's communication systems. "Status report." Dr. Voss stepped forward. "Captain Donovan, this is Dr. Elizabeth Voss. You've been in dormant status for 72 years, 3 months, and 17 days. Protocol Lazarus has been initiated due to confirmed scourge activity at Proxima Colony. The Titan remained motionless, but Maya felt a subtle change in the room's atmosphere, as if the massive being was processing this information. Casualties. The voice was deep, synthesized, yet carried human inflection. Unknown, Admiral Reeves answered, but significant. Colony population was approximately 40,000. Current survivors estimated at less than 5,000, sheltered in emergency bunkers. The massive head of the Titan turned slowly, scanning the chamber until its gaze settled on Maya. "You are not military," it observed. Maya swallowed. "Communications Officer Maya Chen, Nova Station. I intercepted the distress call." "Show me," Goliath commanded. Dr. Voss nodded to Maya, who forwarded the distress signal and sensor data to Goliath's systems. There was a moment of silence as the Titan processed the information. "The patterns match," Goliath finally said. "These are the Scourge. Their technology has advanced, but the signature energy readings are identical to my records." "What exactly are they?" Maya asked, unable to contain her curiosity. "Harvesters," Goliath replied. "They consume resources, organic and inorganic, to fuel their expansion. They don't negotiate or communicate. They take what they need and leave dead worlds in their wake." "Can they be stopped?" Reeves asked. "Unknown," Goliath admitted. "My previous encounter was with a scout vessel. These are capital ships. Their capabilities are likely far beyond anything I've faced before." "But you'll try?" Maya asked quietly. The massive Titan turned its attention to her again. "That is my purpose. That is why James Donovan sacrificed his humanity." Something in the way Goliath referred to Donovan in the third person disturbed Maya, but she kept her expression neutral. "Prepare me for deployment," Goliath commanded. "I require updates on current military protocols, weapons systems, and tactical data on Proxima Colony's defenses." "Already underway," Reeves confirmed. "The warship Defiant has been modified to escort you. We leave in 24 hours. As preparations continued, Maya found herself assigned quarters aboard the Defiant. The crew, a mix of veteran officers and specialists, regarded her with curiosity. She was clearly an outsider, yet somehow connected to the mysterious Titan that was now being moved to the ship's external docking bay. Captain Eliza Hernandez, the Defiant's commander, briefed her crew the night before departure. "Our mission is escort and support only," she emphasized. "Goliath is our primary weapon against the Scourge. We provide intelligence, evacuation assistance for any survivors, and tactical support as needed." Later that evening, Maya received a notification on her personal device. "Presence requested in external communication bay." Curious, she made her way through the ship's corridors to a specially constructed chamber that allowed direct communication with Goliath, while the Titan was attached to the ship's exterior. When she entered, the wall-sized screen displayed a simple message. "Thank you for coming, Officer Chen." "You wanted to see me?" Maya asked, uncertain how to address the being that was both machine and man. "I did." Goliath's voice filled the room. "Admiral Reeves believes you can help ease my transition." "I'll try," Maya said honestly, "but I don't know how much help I can be." "Tell me about Earth," Goliath requested. "Tell me what has changed in 70 years. As Maya began to describe the world that James Donovan had left behind, the technological advances, cultural shifts, and political changes, she couldn't help but wonder how much of the man remained within the machine. And as the Defiant prepared to embark on its desperate rescue mission, she wondered if humanity's last guardian retained enough of its humanity to save them all. Wrath of the Colossus. The journey to Proxima Centauri stretched across 3 weeks of tense preparation. The Defiant moved through the void at maximum velocity, its modified engines training against the laws of physics. Throughout the journey, Maya spent hours each day in the communication bay, speaking with Goliath. What began as briefings about current events evolved into deeper conversations about humanity, purpose, and identity. "Do you still think of yourself as James Donovan?" she asked one evening, 2 days from their destination. The massive Titan, secured to the Defiant's hull, took longer than usual to respond. "I have his memories, his knowledge, his core values," Goliath finally answered. "But I am more and less than he was. The neural integration process preserved what made him human, but altered how it exists." "That doesn't really answer my question," Maya pointed out. "No," Goliath admitted. "It doesn't. The truth is complicated. Sometimes I think as James Donovan, with all his fears and hopes. Other times, I process information as Goliath, calculating probabilities and tactical scenarios with machine precision." "Which are you right now?" "Both," the Titan said. "Neither. I remember loving the smell of rain on Earth, yet I have no olfactory sensors. I recall the taste of whiskey, though I have no need for sustenance. I am a paradox, a human consciousness without a human body, experiencing reality through systems designed for war." Maya considered this. "That sounds lonely." "It is," Goliath acknowledged, "which is why these conversations have been valuable." The ship's alert system interrupted them, Captain Hernandez's voice filling the chamber. "All personnel to battle stations. We're approaching Proxima Centauri. Initial scans detect multiple Scourge vessels in orbit. Officer Chen, report to the bridge immediately." Maya hurried through the corridors as crew members rushed to their positions. On the bridge, Admiral Reeves stood beside Captain Hernandez, both studying holographic displays of the Proxima system. "It's worse than we anticipated," Reeves said as Maya arrived. 7 capital ships and numerous smaller vessels. They've established mining operations on the colony's moon and appear to be extracting resources from the planet itself. The main view screen showed Proxima Colony, once a thriving outpost with gleaming structures and terraformed landscapes. Now much of it lay in ruins. Massive extraction devices pierced the planet's surface like spears, drawing materials upward to the waiting ships. "Life signs?" Maya asked, dreading the answer. "Scattered," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from the sensor station, "primarily in underground structures. But they're fading. The Scourge technology appears to be draining the planet's resources at an accelerated rate, including atmosphere. They're not just taking minerals," Dr. Voss said grimly. "They're harvesting everything: atmosphere, water, organic material. At this rate, the planet will be uninhabitable within days." Captain Hernandez turned to Admiral Reeves. "Sir, we're significantly outgunned. Even with Goliath, I don't see how." "We're not here to win a conventional battle," Reeves interrupted. "We're here to rescue survivors and gather intelligence on the enemy's capabilities." He activated the communication system. "Goliath, are you monitoring?" "Affirmative," the Titan responded. "I am analyzing Scourge deployments and identifying weaknesses." "Assessment?" Reeves asked. "Their technology has advanced significantly since my last encounter," Goliath reported, "but their basic pattern remains consistent. Resource extraction takes priority over defense. Their attention is focused planet-side." "Can you create a distraction while we deploy rescue shuttles to the survivor locations?" Hernandez asked. "More than a distraction," Goliath replied. "I can engage their primary vessels directly. My systems are designed to counter their technology." "That's a suicide mission," Maya interjected. "You'd be facing 7 capital ships alone." "I was built for this purpose," Goliath stated simply. "The Defiant cannot survive direct engagement. If you deploy your rescue shuttles on the far side of the planet while I attack their main fleet, you might extract the survivors before they can redirect their forces." Admiral Reeves nodded grimly. "Begin undocking procedures. Prepare rescue teams and medical personnel." "Wait," Maya protested. "You're just going to send them, to die." "That was always the plan, Officer Chen," Reeves said quietly. Goliath was preserved for this exact scenario, a final defense when conventional forces would fail. As the Titan detached from the Defiant, Maya returned to the communication bay, establishing a private channel. James, she said, deliberately using his human name. There has to be another way. Maya, Goliath replied, using her first name for the first time. This is why I exist. If I can save even some of the colonists, my purpose will be fulfilled. The Defiant's view screen showed Goliath accelerating toward the Scourge fleet, a dark silhouette against the distant star. The Titan's weapon systems activated, energy signatures flaring across its massive frame. I'm staying on this channel, Maya said firmly. All the way through. I would appreciate that, Goliath acknowledged. What followed was unlike any battle in human history. Goliath moved with impossible speed for something so massive, targeting the nearest Scourge vessel with precision strikes that penetrated its defenses. The alien ship erupted in a cascade of explosions, fragments spinning away into the void. The remaining Scourge vessels responded, converging on the Titan with weapons that distorted space itself. Goliath absorbed the first barrage, its specialized shielding dispersing much of the energy, but Maya could see damage reports flooding the monitoring systems. Structural integrity at 82%, Goliath reported clinically, rerouting power to forward weapon arrays. The Titan unleashed a devastating counterattack, disabling 2 more Scourge vessels before they could coordinate their defenses. But the remaining 4 capital ships adjusted their tactics, surrounding Goliath and attacking from multiple vectors. They're learning, Goliath observed, adapting to my attack patterns. Maya watched as the Titan sustained increasing damage. Can you retreat? We've launched the rescue shuttles. They just need more time. Negative, Goliath responded. If I disengage, they'll detect the shuttles. I need to hold their attention. On the other side of the planet, the Defiant's rescue teams worked frantically to evacuate survivors from underground bunkers. Captain Hernandez's voice came through the communication system. First wave of shuttles returning. 217 survivors secured. Deploying second wave. How many more shuttles? Maya asked. 3 waves, Hernandez replied. Estimated retrieval time. 42 minutes. Maya checked Goliath's status displays. At the current rate of damage, the Titan wouldn't last half that long. James, she began, but Goliath interrupted. I know. I'm calculating alternatives. The remaining Scourge vessels continued their assault, their weapons tearing through Goliath's armor. The Titan fought with increasing desperation, destroying another ship but taking catastrophic damage in the process. Structural integrity at 41%, Goliath reported. Primary weapon systems failing. Initiating emergency protocols. Maya watched in horror as warning indicators flashed across the displays. What emergency protocols? Something I've been considering since we arrived, Goliath answered. The Scourge ships are connected through a quantum network. Their coordination is their strength, but potentially also a weakness. The Titan abruptly changed tactics, ceasing its attack on the ship's hulls, and instead targeting specific nodes on their surfaces. What are you doing? Maya asked. Their communication systems, Goliath explained. If I can disrupt their network, I might be able to temporarily neutralize their coordination. Captain Hernandez's voice came through again. Second wave of shuttles returning. 435 more survivors secured. Final wave deploying now. Goliath continued its precise attacks on the Scourge vessel's communication arrays, enduring devastating counterfire in the process. Maya watched as the Titan's status indicators dropped into critical ranges. It's working, Goliath reported. Their coordination is failing. Ships 3 and 5 are experiencing network isolation. Indeed, 2 of the remaining Scourge vessels began moving erratically, their weapon fire becoming scattered and ineffective. But the Titan had paid a heavy price. Its movement systems were critically damaged, and multiple weapon arrays had failed completely. Structural integrity at 17%, Goliath reported. Core systems failing. But I have confirmation. The Scourge network disruption is spreading to all vessels. The alien ships began to drift, their coordinated attack pattern dissolving into chaos. For a moment, it seemed Goliath's desperate gambit had succeeded. Then one of the vessels fired directly at the Titan's core, a lucky shot that penetrated the weakened defenses. "Core breach imminent," Goliath stated, the synthesized voice remarkably calm. "Neural network integrity compromised." "No," Maya cried. "Can you eject the core? Retreat to the Defiant." "Too damaged," Goliath replied. "But I have one final option." The Titan's remaining thrusters activated, propelling the massive form toward the largest Scourge vessel. "Maya, I need you to deliver a message to Admiral Reeves." "Tell me," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "The Scourge ships share a unified consciousness. That's why disrupting their network was so effective. If I can initiate a recursive feedback loop through their quantum link before my core detonates, the cascade failure should disable their entire fleet." "You're going to sacrifice yourself," Maya realized. "I'm going to complete my mission," Goliath corrected. "Tell Reeves, the Scourge are not invincible. Their interconnected nature is their weakness. Future defenses should target their communication systems first." The Titan accelerated toward the massive Scourge command vessel, its damaged form leaving a trail of debris. "James," Maya said, her voice breaking. "I don't know what to say." "Then let me," Goliath replied, and for a moment, the synthesized voice seemed more human. "Thank you for reminding me what it meant to be James Donovan. For 3 weeks, I was more than a weapon." The Titan collided with the Scourge vessel, penetrating its outer hull. "Core detonation in 30 seconds. Neural feedback program initiated." "Goodbye, James," Maya whispered. "Goodbye, Maya. Tell them that in the end, I remembered what it was to be human." The communication channel went silent. Moments later, a blinding flash engulfed the Scourge command ship. The explosion was followed by a cascade of energy that rippled through space, connecting to each Scourge vessel in sequence. One by one, the alien ships went dark, their systems failing as the quantum feedback loop corrupted their network. On the Defiant's bridge, Admiral Reeves watched in stunned silence. "What just happened?" Maya entered, her eyes red but her voice steady as she delivered Goliath's final message. "He found their weakness, sir. The Scourge ships share a unified consciousness. Goliath created a feedback loop that disabled their entire network." Captain Hernandez reported from her station. "Final rescue shuttles docked. 812 survivors secured." "That's all we could find, sir." Reeves nodded solemnly. "Set course for Earth, maximum speed. We need to prepare defenses in case there are more of them out there." As the Defiant pulled away from the devastated colony, Maya stood at the observation window, watching the disabled Scourge vessels drift in the distance. 812 survivors out of 40,000 colonists. A terrible loss, yet without Goliath's sacrifice, there would have been none. Dr. Voss joined her at the window. "I've analyzed the data Goliath transmitted before the end. His discovery about the Scourge network could be the key to developing effective defenses for Earth." "He," Maya corrected quietly. "Nodded." Voss nodded in acknowledgement. "Yes, he." After a pause, she added, "You know, the neural transfer process was never perfect. Over time, the human consciousness was expected to fade, leaving only the tactical systems operational. But according to the final telemetry, Donovan's neural patterns were stronger at the end than at any point since his awakening." "What does that mean?" Maya asked. "It means that in his final moments, James Donovan was more human than machine," Voss said. "Your conversations with him, they reawakened something we thought had been lost decades ago." Maya considered this as she watched Proxima Centauri grow smaller in the distance. "Do you think there are more Scourge out there?" "Almost certainly," Voss replied grimly. "But thanks to Goliath, we know more about them than they know about us. and humanity has always excelled at turning knowledge into advantage. 3 months later, Maya stood in the newly established Titan Memorial on Luna Base. The massive chamber that had housed Goliath now served as both memorial and museum. A holographic recreation of the Titan stood where the original once did, while displays detailed the battle at Proxima Colony and the sacrifice that had saved 812 lives. Admiral Reeves joined her, his uniform adorned with new insignia marking his promotion to Fleet Admiral. "The Defense Committee has approved Project Phoenix," he informed her. "Based on Goliath's discoveries, we're developing new technologies specifically designed to counter Scourge tactics." "Will there be more Titans?" Maya asked. "No," Reeves said firmly. "That era is behind us. Goliath was the last of his kind. The new defenses will be different. Distributed systems using the same quantum principles the Scourge employed, but without requiring human consciousness at their core." Maya nodded, relieved. "Good. There should never be another James Donovan." "We agree," Reeves said, "which is why I wanted to inform you personally. You've been appointed as civilian liaison to Project Phoenix. Your experience with Goliath and your communication skills make you uniquely qualified." "I'm honored," Maya said, genuinely surprised. "But why a civilian liaison?" "Because Goliath's final lesson wasn't tactical," Reeves explained. "It was that humanity itself, our connections, our empathy, our ability to see beyond pure strategy. That's our true strength. The Scourge are connected but not truly united. We need to be both." As the Admiral departed, Maya remained at the memorial, studying the holographic representation of Goliath. It was an impressive recreation, accurate in every technical detail, but it couldn't capture what had made the Titan truly remarkable: the human consciousness that had sacrificed everything twice to save others. "Goodbye, James," she whispered one final time. Then she turned away, walking toward the future that his sacrifice had made possible. A future where humanity stood prepared to face the darkness between stars, not just with machines of war, but with the indomitable spirit that had always defined their species. In the vast chamber, the holographic Titan stood silent watch, a reminder that in humanity's darkest hour, it was not technology alone that had saved them, but the enduring human qualities of courage, sacrifice, and connection. Qualities that no enemy, no matter how advanced, could ever truly understand or defeat.